Because right now we have a man who currently has a case in the appellate court, asking the court to reinstate him to the seat of the government that he is telling us is a very bad government. We were being led by the person who sold your grandmother fake fertilizer, mixed it with sand and cow dung, is the same person who's telling us that they are going to redeem us. The other person in your proposition that you're asking us to support is the person who oversaw the killing of the Kianjokoma twins in 2020. The people who meted out the highest amount of violence to us young people. If you can trust that person, certainly, I think you can and you ought to extend more grace to people who have not been tainted. Nobody here has a corruption case. The worst thing that these young men and women have done here is be so good at what they do that the praying political class has identified their talent. That's all you can blame them.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all remember what happened on 25th June 2024, where the youth of this country, the Gen Zs, especially leading the youths, occupying the parliament buildings. As a result, so many youths were shot dead. Others actually got injured. Some of them got abducted. Until today, we don't know where they are. And that was very, very, very sad. William Ruto even called us criminals. But the government reached a point and noticed that abductions, killings, shooting people by police officers is not going to help manage the youths, but instead it's going to fuel them. So William Ruto sat down with his team and came up with a certain plan that was going to deal with the youths of this country. And that is going to form the basis of this analysis here today, my fellow viewers. But before I take you through, if this is the first time you're watching, make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment, because that's the best support you can always give this channel. My name is Abel Mugwa, and thank you so much for those who've been supporting me. Let me give you 2 seconds subscribe before I proceed. Thank you so much for subscribing. Now, let me dive into the topic today. After the youths uprising in the country, indeed, we realized that across Africa, across the world, even Bangladesh, we had the youths as well doing the same things. So William Ruto had to craft a way to deal with us. There's one thing that he did. He targeted those who were very vocal. Number one is Samuel Kasamore. And of course, Morara Kebaso. I want to use just an example. These two, for instance, Kasamuel Makaore, he was one of the most vocal when it comes to Gen Z protests, having some microphones, speaking loud, and people heard him. So it was always all over, including some major media stations like BBC having him on board. I think CNN or something. So that kind of a show that was staged there attracted the government attention. So the government went for him. If he could have gone to William Ruto, probably could be a serious traitor. But now, to be just a simple traitor, he went to Raila Amolo Odinga and pretended to be working with the Youth League of ODM. As a result, the voice that was on the streets of Kasamuel Makore was no longer there. The people who had to go to the streets and help other youths to champion the interests of the youths could actually not do anything, because Kasamuel Makore discouraged most of them. So people are like, even if you come up, you'll be bought. So those guys in the streets started hating people who were particularly at the top. So that method literally worked. So Kasamuel Makore discouraged the uprising, the coming up of other youths. Nobody could literally come and lead a crowd. Why? Because people could see him a potential client of the government. So people are discouraged. People are discouraged. So the government, the first thing it did, it identified them. The other one is Morara, who just came up from nowhere. Then he got the public attention. He got the support. He went across the country. In real sense, he gathered some support, some feelings of Kenyans, only to realize these people are dancing to a different tune this time around. And there's one simple thing unique the government did to these two gentlemen. I'm just giving them as an example. The government literally gave them space to do whatever they want. People are wondering, how could Morara Kebaso move around the country, go to various places, and not get abducted just like others were being abducted? Someone could just post something, he gets abducted for days, for weeks, for months. But Morara Kebaso moving across the country and is not abducted by anyone. Now, Kasamuel Makore goes to the streets. He's not arrested. Someone like Boniface Mwangi gets arrested that single day. Okay, Mtata went there once, he was arrested. But Kasamuel Makore and Morara were never arrested easily as that. Only to reach at some point where there was an arrest from his house, actually, where they had the offices, which was, of course, staged. We can tell at this point now. So, because he was not tortured, he was presented in court, he was represented by lawyers. So many good things happened to Morara Kebaso. To an extent, even he started complaining that Kenyans have not turned out to come and receive me. Yet people were there. People were online saying release Morara Kibaso. This was used simply to show, the government was using it to show if the youth still online are active, how far they can go, who else should they target, how do people do their things. So Morara Kibaso was arrested basically for the NIS to be able to note what is happening. Now, after being left free without arrest, another thing that the government did, set them up for media watch hours. These people were left to go to the medias. Some of them were literally directed to go there. After going to the media, they are asked questions, they say so many things, to an extent where they sometimes even confuse themselves. I remember a scenario where Kasamoli Makaura and some others were literally taken to media. After reaching there, like in series on TV, these people ask a simple question. After William Ruto has gone, what next? These people could not literally answer the question. And that one showed most of the Kenyans like, these are just kids who don't know probably what they're doing. They even don't know what the next move. We thought they had a plan. So they are planless. It discouraged most people. So as a result, the youths did not get the serious attention like they did before. And in fact, I'm telling you, the question that Morara Kibaso, Kasamoli Makaura was asked about the next step after William Ruto has gone, really discouraged most Kenyans from the movement completely. Another thing that the government did, in the protests, they also included goons who were able to destroy properties across. So as the peaceful demonstrators demonstrate, goons are brought from nowhere, people you've never seen. They get into shops, take sodas, take foods, then spoil other things there, simply to paint the protest of the youths as illegal and bad. So therefore, people literally develop some negative attitude towards the protests. That is one of them that also happened to manage the youths of this country. Now, the other thing that happened, also in the media still, we had people getting interviewed right left and center. They said so many things until there's no more to say. Now, as a result, people are discouraged. The other thing that now came was buying them. If you listen to what these people are saying as we speak today, they have literally been bought. People like Kasamoli Makaura was moving the Raila Amolo Odinga as a chopper. Kasamoli Makaura going to receive Ruto in Uasin Gishu for a function, a church function. That was a clear indication that these people are working with us, because how could Kasamoli Makaura fly from Nairobi to all that place? Does he have the money to sponsor in his chopper? No. This was state-sponsored. Basically, that one happened. After buying them, the government used them, and now it has dumped them. Now you've seen these people coming on board to come and tell us that forgive each other, be with us, we are now speaking. The only thing that they did wrong is the language they were using. Their language was to castigate the opposition, more especially Rigathi Gachagua. And Morara focused on Matiang'i. So one is focused on Matiang'i, and one is focused on Gachagua. So as a result, you note that these people are not now criticizing the government. They are literally focused on what is happening in the opposition. They are squaring those opposition. And another thing that the government did to them also is to let them go to the youths. And of course, the youths have rejected them. What could have these people done so that they could have seemed to be serious? First of all, Morara Kibaso could have organized his party, mobilized youths to his party, and actually even move across the country the money that was given simply to mobilize youths on his support and popularize the party. But instead, ever since the party was registered, Morara Kibaso chased away most of the youths that were there, like Engineer Kimori and the others, who have literally continued the activism. Like now, Engineer Kimori Nakuru is vying for Governor Kubantero's seat. So as a result, we note that Morara Kibaso decided to shelf his ambitions, shelf the party. Nobody knows what is going on with the party again. Now, after doing that, there's no other platform for youth to go and anchor their issues. The fact remains that the youths now remain totally leaderless. People had seen Morara Kibaso as a potential leader in this country. What they could have done literally is to organize themselves, have the party, have the youths on board, people to resonate with it. But indeed, he chased people instead of bringing them. Also, Kasamoli Makaura was simply to stay with the activism that he was doing. Stand with the people of Kenya. Get the protection. Be branded the tomboya we saw. But instead of doing that, he went to Raila Amolo Odinga, thinking that he's going to ODM to create a youth league, which had a youth leader, which had its own plan, which has not been active, And actually, Kasamali Makoro was not the person who was going to really make it active at this point. As a result, we've seen them being dumped. Now they're coming to us telling us things that don't make sense. And of course, youths have rejected them. That is a plan to simply make sure that the youths do not get any form of leadership. The youths do not really resonate together again. The youths do not come together to divert the youth's mind, to keep them talking. Because literally, even these guys, after they had come up with statements, they literally went to a corner and started laughing to what Kenyans were reacting about their behavior. I don't know what's your take. Please, if this is the first time you're watching my videos, kindly make sure that once again subscribe. On the comment section, please let me see what you think. And thank you so much for watching. Please make sure that you hit that thumbs up because likes support the channel. Thank you so much.